Welcome back to the Becoming Her Success and Self-Growth podcast. For those who are tired of starting over, ready to raise their standards, and determined to build the health, confidence, and mindset that lead to lasting success. Today's episode is for the moms. It is called When Motivation Disappears, What No One Talks About After Motherhood. And this one is all about the year I really went inward and found myself again. So last year I had, well, not last year actually, I have a baby who is 14 months old. He was born December 1st, 2024, but last year is the year that I went back to work after having two kids. And it was also the year a lot of things happened, okay? But we will get into that. Last year, when I was still like on my quote unquote maternity leave, which was only 8 weeks long, I kept telling people that going from one kid to two was easier than going from zero to one. And honestly, I still believe that. But what I didn't realize at the time was how many other changes were happening at the same time that really made last year so hard. So we went through a move, which I know, if you've moved before, you know it is exhausting. But with two small kids, even more so exhausting. And the cleaning and painting for all of the pictures and the open houses and the showings. And then, once the house sells, actually the process of moving and then unpacking. And then towards the end of the year, we had to do it all over again. We were moving out of a rental this time, so no showings, but the packing happened all over again because we just moved again in January 26th. So that was a big thing that took up a lot of my time in the last year. We also moved further away from our jobs, from our childcare, from the city, which leads to a longer commute. We also have a bigger space, which leads to, more cleaning, more tidying, more stuff to manage. We also, had a newborn and a toddler, which leads to, more dishes, more laundry, all the things. And then put on top of that, running a business at 8 weeks postpartum. So I had a lot going on. And honestly, in the beginning, when I was first going back to work, I was really excited to do so. I was doing awesome for the first few months. I had a super chill baby, super good sleeper, which was very helpful. But he came to work with me for another 2 to 3 months after that. And, that even I found enjoyable that I felt grateful that I got to spend more time this time because I took an 8 week maternity leave with my daughter, and I had a job at that point. I had just finished my degree and just got my full-time job, and I had to go back to it fairly quickly because of maternity leave and whatnot. But this time was different because I was running my own business. So obviously I got $0 maternity leave, but I also knew that I could ease back into it, that I could work part-time, that I could start taking on clients, and that I had that flexibility that allowed me to stay with my baby longer, which I was so, so grateful for. So I was really excited, getting back into it. But a few months later, I started feeling really burnt out. I was not feeling myself. I was not feeling motivated. And somewhere around last summer, I started like physically not being able to like wake up from a night of sleep. My husband had to like turn all the lights on and like shake me awake. I made a doctor's appointment and they told me my blood work was normal, everything looked good. And, I just kept thinking like something is wrong with me. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not excited? Why am I not grateful? Why am I not inspired? Why don't I have the love and excitement and gratitude for this life that I used to? And, I talked to some people about it. Some people like suggested that it was like postpartum depression, but I was like, I don't feel depressed. I just don't feel great. I'm used to feeling like top tier, energized, ready to crush my day, excited to get on the ground and play with my kids, like excited to do all the things and just live this life. And I wasn't. I just felt kind of blah. I just felt kind of like I wanted to be lazy. I just wanted to watch TV. I didn't want to do the things that I typically do so easily to better myself that I've worked so hard to make habit. And it's not that I wasn't doing them. Like I was still showing up and going to the gym like 3 to 5 times a week. I was still, putting the work in, showing up for my business, for my clients, but I didn't feel like myself. And then I really stepped back. I didn't completely step back. I was still doing the things, but I stopped like forcing myself to work so hard and decided to look more inward. And I was like, what was I doing before this year that made me feel so amazing? Was anything different? What was I doing? And I realized that before my second was born, I had a solid morning routine. Every morning, I got up before my daughter. I meditated, I journaled, I got myself ready before going to get her and get her ready and eating breakfast together. And I know that, like, I'm not saying anyone should, when you're in the thick of the newborn phase, try to like get up before them and journal because, like, that is not realistic. Obviously, I did have to take some time, but I didn't think to get back to it. I had lost that habit and I was like, well, sleep is important. I'm obviously behind on my sleep. I'm only at this point, I was like 6 months postpartum. I was like, the sleep is more important right now. But really, it wasn't. Like that extra half hour of sleep is not going to do for you the way, setting up your morning and like feeling grounded and regulated from the second you wake up is going to change your day. Like being shaken awake with bright lights on, going straight to caffeine and chaos is not how you want to start your day and does not leave you feeling, excited to go inspire people and excited to like go crush the day, go crush a workout. Like creativity needs quiet, it needs space. And I was listening to a podcast recently. It was Michaela J's podcast, and it was sort of a mirror moment. If you haven't heard of her, her podcast is the Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation podcast. I love it. I've been listening to her for 6 years now, which is so crazy. But she was talking about how she hasn't felt this inspired and excited for a long time. Like she was still, inspired and excited, but like not to like the level that she was when she first started her personal development journey and started getting into like manifestation and spirituality. Because like when you first start and you realize that the power that you hold, like everything is so exciting. And I felt that too. I was in one of her programs. She was my mentor when I decided to quit my job and go all in on myself. And I had like this amazing group that I was a part of and a mentor to help me through it. And I was just so excited. And like a lot of people would have been stressed in this position, but I'm going to get into stress a little bit later on. But most people would have been stressed in this position. I was like working. I owned a home, a car, I had a kid, I had bills that I had to pay, and I just quit my job and was like, I am not working for anyone ever again. I am going to figure this out. I am going to make a difference in women's lives, and I am going to make a full-time income doing it, and I'm going to do it like starting now. Like before the end of this month, I'm going to match my monthly income. And I did, but that's not even the point. The point was in this time, I was so excited. I felt on top of the world. I felt grateful every day that I didn't have a work start time. That, when Someone asked me if I wanted to have a play date at the end of the week. I could like look at my schedule and make it work. I never had to ask anyone like for time off or, you know, any of those things. Like I felt so free, so grateful, and so inspired. And I was just craving that feeling. Like I wanted to get back to the point that I was in. And like, I just kept thinking about like, I should feel inspired and excited. I have two amazing, perfect, healthy children who are my reason, who are my why. And I have this building that, or this business that I've been building from nothing. Like, I built this business from scratch, from the start. And I made it happen in a month, and I've been making it happen ever since. So why aren't I excited? Why aren't I pushing myself to grow? Why do I not even want to work out anymore? Like, what is wrong with me? It was all that I could think. And another thing I wanted to bring up recently, if anyone watched the Olympic figure skating this year, I don't know if I'm saying her name properly, but I've seen the stories everywhere. Alyssa Liu or Liu, basically she was like top tier athlete. She was trained intensely. Her dad saw her talent and wanted her to be the best of the best and got her the best trainers. And she trained all over the world from a very young age to be like an amazing figure skater at age 16. And she decided to retire, and she stepped away because she just wanted peace. She didn't want this to be her life. And she returned wanting to have fun, wanting to enjoy it and not be so serious and so stressed out about it. And she won gold in the Olympics. She got better when she stopped trying to force everything and realized she didn't need to push harder. She just needed to come back to herself. Sorry, I just need a sip of water there. And I just like related to this so much. Sometimes taking a step back and allowing yourself, the time to think instead of push, and reflect instead of set bigger goals, and like really look inward instead of just pushing and pushing and trying harder is exactly what you need to move forward, is exactly what you need to grow and get better. So with the changes I made, like the logistics matter, okay? Like obviously, like I talked about, I had a longer commute, more dishes, laundry, getting two kids out the door takes double the time. Everything else takes double the time, the commute, the cleaning, all of it. So I was feeling limited, but there is always a way. There's always a way. I will scream that from the rooftops because I truly believe there is always a way to make what you want happen. So I just really had to think about it. I had to look at my schedule and be like, what is the way? How can I get back to the habits that made me feel good, feel regulated, feel grounded, feel excited? So I don't have to feel like this anymore. And I can show up as the person that I want to be. And, it looked like canceling my gym membership. Not because I'm not prioritizing working out anymore, but because I'm deciding to work out from home. That takes out the commute. That takes out the time. That takes out running into friends, old friends, and chatting for 20 minutes, which sometimes happens. And, it is nice to be social and it is enjoyable sometimes, but I needed to cut that out. I was like, if I want life to get better, I need to go inward. And I was finding that because I was working out during the day, I was ending up doing more work into the evening and not even getting time to relax in the evening because I wasn't getting all the stuff done during the day. So I canceled my gym membership. I decided workouts are now happening in the evening after kids go to bed, 45 minutes tops. That's it. We're doing it at home. with the money I was spending on the membership, I am buying more gym equipment. I am building a full home gym in the basement with a kids climbing gym type thing right beside it so I can work out in peace while they play and, be active in peace. And then earlier bedtime. If I am working out in the evening, I am, not working in the evening most nights. I do have some evening availability because obviously some people work a daytime job. So I need to be available one evening a week, maybe two. But for the most part, not working in the evening, not doing extra work in the evening or like content creating. That is stuff for the day. I'm making a better, more structured plan for myself based on the week and what I have to do. And to get to bed earlier and get the workouts in earlier, I'm watching way less TV. Like it is Wednesday and I have not watched a single thing on TV this week. And I know that feels like foreign to most people because a lot of people, you want to relax and like veg out at the end of a long day. But that was not making me feel better. I know I was doing a lot. I know I was tired. And a lot of people call it self-care. But to me, that is not self-care. That is, just numbing yourself and not giving your brain time to like be bored and think and process things. And that's what you really need to be better. To me, self-care are things that are going to improve my life. And that was making my life worse and not better. So I really had to look at it. I had to make some sacrifices. I had to make some changes in order to fully show up as the person that I wanted to be. And like that is like the main reason I felt stuck is I was just neglecting one of the main things. And to a lot of people, and to me at the time, it seemed least important to, show up and journal and meditate before the kids woke up. Like you would think that, my workouts would be more beneficial or like my business tasks would be more beneficial, but they weren't because how you show up is a direct reflection of how you think, how you believe in yourself, how you see yourself. And, journaling and meditating and getting grounded first thing in the morning and regulating your nervous system so you're not starting your day in chaos mode is how you make that happen. I also just really wanted to share this. If you haven't heard of Louise Hay, go look her up. She is like the OG personal development manifestation queen. And I just read her book, The Powers Within You. Actually, technically, I listened to it as an audiobook. That's another thing I like to do recently to habit stack is like when I'm getting ready to feel grounded, instead of journaling in the morning, I'm journaling a little later in the day. But to start my day calmly, I'm giving myself some time to think while I wash my face. And then I'm getting myself into a positive mindset by listening to an audiobook or a podcast that I love and I know will motivate me for the day while I'm getting ready and doing my makeup. I had to share this with you. This is more of a paraphrase. I don't have the direct quote because, like I said, I was getting ready. It was an audiobook. I didn't write it down immediately. But essentially, she said that stress isn't real. It is fear of a future negative outcome. And it's silly because fear isn't really real either. Like you should be scared, when you're in danger, but you're not in danger of, not becoming your best self or of something bad happening to you that is like not even all that logical or like, you know, whatever you're stressing about. You don't need to stress about it because the future outcome is not going to happen if you're not constantly thinking and fearing it. If you think positively about the things that you stress about, like, I don't know, like your health or money or things typical people stress about, it's not going to happen. If you believe more money is coming, more money is going to come. If you stress about money, the you're just really attracting that negative future outcome. And this lady, Louise Hay, is someone who cured herself and helped others of cancer with her mindset. So she is absolutely amazing. I 100% recommend her. But like when I stopped assuming that things would go wrong, my body stopped reacting like they had already gone wrong. And I started, rewriting my old beliefs that I thought, before all these changes happened and before I started telling myself again that it's so hard and there's not enough hours in my day, because that is not actually the reality. The reality is I made choices this year that put me in a better position. I made a choice this year to move, to build a house that is better suited for my family. Like that is a positive thing. Yes, I'm further away. Yes, I have less time because I have two kids, but I am so grateful I have two kids. I am so grateful for this beautiful new home, and I don't mind the drive. I am starting to kind of enjoy the more time to decompress and chat with Kiki on the way home, and also to drive in to get her and Kenny and to, reflect on my work day and reflect on how and give myself that either time to, like I said, listen to something positive or time to just sit in the quiet and be with my thoughts. So, all of these things can be reframed as positive things, and I can decide that because I have more time doing other things, it doesn't mean I have to take away from the positive things that I was already doing for myself. I can still do those things. I just have to be more strategic with it. I just have to look at my schedule and make necessary changes to make sure it all fits and I'm still getting my rest and I'm still giving myself the time I need. So, this is where I really realized I wanted to help moms who feel exactly like I did. And a lot of people I have talked to recently have been telling me that there's never enough time or there's never enough money to start. And often they're telling me, like, I really want to do this. This really resonates with me. I just don't have the time. I just don't have the money. Is no time for yourself really the kind of life you want to live? And like just like Louise Hay said, your income isn't fixed unless you decide it is. Stressing about your budget is going to cause you to be stressed about your budget. Before we keep going, I need to mention the episode sponsor, the Mama Mindset Shift. It is my new program I'm so excited about. Over the last year, I really realized that I didn't need to work harder or push more. I needed calm, I needed clarity, I needed time to actually think again instead of living on autopilot. And that's exactly why I created the Mama Mindset Shift. This program is for the mom who feels like she's constantly running, managing kids' work responsibilities, mental load, and somewhere along the way, stop feeling like herself. Inside, we focus on creating the calm your nervous system has been craving, helping you reclaim time for you without guilt, emptying the mental clutter that keeps you stuck in survival mode, and stepping back into your power so you can actually accomplish those goals that you keep putting on hold. Because the truth is, you don't need more discipline. You need more regulation, more time to think, more clarity about what you actually want. And when you have that, everything changes. Your energy, your relationships, your confidence, your business or career, your health. So if you're ready to stop running on autopilot and start waking up excited about your life again, you can apply through the link in the show notes or send me a message that says shift, and I will send you the details personally. On the other side of the hard decisions is the life that you keep telling yourself is impossible, the life where you wake up excited again. Thank you so much for listening. As always, feel free to leave a 5-star rate and review. And always, if you could, share a screenshot that you are listening and tag me. I am at livefit_weight loss. Thank you so much for being here, and we will chat next week.